Hello gang, selamat kembali ke podcast Sembang Bola Kopi Wonda. Dan seperti biasa, ini adalah podcast yang akan membawakan kisah-kisah luar biasa, kisah-kisah menarik, kisah-kisah ikonik di sebalik kerjaya dan perjalanan hidup wira-wira bola sepak kegemaran anda. Untuk minggu ini, kita ada seorang tetamu yang sangat istimewa yang sebenarnya majoriti peminat bola sepak Malaysia di luar sana dah tertanya-tanya apa latar belakang individu ini. Membesar bersama salji, tetapi kini bintang bola sepak di Malaysia dan khususnya di Selangor. Selamat datang Nooa Laine buat kali pertama ke podcast Sembang Bola Kopi Wonda. Nooa, thank you so much, first and foremost, for taking the time to have this chat with us. How are things going with you?
Pretty well. Thank you for inviting me, and it's really nice to be here.
Yeah, I still remember when the news was announced that you were moving to Malaysia, and it felt like it was just yesterday. But in the blink of an eye, it's already been what? How many months has it been since you moved here?
What is it? It's November now?
Yeah.
So 9
months?
9 months, yeah.
They must have flown by for you.
Yeah, for sure. When you're playing so many games, you're just in the zone and not really thinking about the time. But yeah, I've enjoyed, and it's been really good.
Yeah, there's honestly a lot to get into. Malaysian fans have been used to watching you. I think even before you moved to Malaysia, we've already watched you before with the national setup. Malaysian fans have also been, very impressed by your performances for Selangor, for example. But there's always been a bit of curiosity about who exactly is the guy behind the defensive midfielder that we're growing accustomed to seeing on the pitch at the moment. And I suppose that's what we'll explore today. But before we get into the football topics, I've just got one question. And it's this one question that has been bugging me, not necessarily bugging me, but it's been circling in my mind for a while now. And one of the things that fascinates me most about the place you come from, Nooa, Finland, is the fact that it's part of a region, Scandinavia, where a lot of those countries rank very highly on the happiness index. They always say that Scandinavian countries, our Scandinavian people, are the happiest people on the planet. That's what they generally say, right? But it's also got the highest concentration of heavy metal bands in the world. I'm just curious, did you grow up being a heavy metal band, or did you see heavy metal band being very popular amongst your friends in Finland? What's the culture like?
Yeah, like you said, there's like many studies the people are the most happy in the world, but also I think there is a side to especially Finland that is you can understand why there's so many heavy metal bands, because there is this kind of a dark side also to Finland, and people are like if I'd say if you go to a smaller town, you can see that there is many people who like to listen heavy metal, but it's not really my thing, to be honest. But there also, have you heard about Eurovision? It's song contest. Yeah.
It's a huge thing over there, right?
Yes, and there was this it's called Lordi.
Okay.
Finnish metal band, and they won it. So I don't know which year was it, but quite a long time ago. But I think that also is part of the reason why it has become big
pretty
thing
popular.
over there. Yeah.
Malaysia has a sizable metal fan base as well. Actually, it's got a pretty sizable community. But what is your genre of music?
Yeah, rap. Rap is my. I like to listen to pop also sometimes, but mostly rap. Yeah.
Any particular artist?
I like Drake.
Is that your pre-game jam as well?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah. Well, it's quite mixed, but there is some Drake.
So I take it in the Drake-Kendrick beef, I take it that you side with.
Yeah, but surely Kendrick still won. I think so. But
gotta give you a high five on that one.
I'm not picking sides.
Well, let's sort of dive into the football conversation, right? I think generally people are just very fascinated about the story, your upbringing. So I want to start by asking a little bit about your upbringing in Finland. What was it like growing up in Finland? What was it like also growing up in as a multicultural kid, right? You've got different backgrounds. Yeah. What was that like? Could you tell us a little bit more?
Well, yeah. I think I had a really normal childhood. I had lots of friends. I played outside with them. Went to school. After school, I went to training. It was quite I think it's a bit different compared to Malaysia. Like I think here a lot. The football and school, they are mixed.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So
You play football in your school,
yes,
and
in
you
the
play
school
for
team.
your school.
Yes, yes. But in Finland, it's like I wake up, I go to school, and after school, I go home. Or if the training starts early, I go straight to training, and it's different. It's like a football team and school. And then after training, I just go home and do the same again and enjoy every day. And it's like, yeah, that's all I do pretty much. My whole childhood.
Were your parents a driving factor in you getting into football, or was it just a personal interest for you?
For sure, they put me like they were the ones who like got the idea to put me to football. But from the first training, I like fell in love immediately. So, like, yeah, I would say they helped me, but I'm the one who like fell in love with the sport.
Who is your Finnish football hero? There's two parts to this question, because I want to know who is your Finnish football hero, like the Finland footballer that you grew up idolizing, and also which was the first Malaysian footballer you were aware of.
I wouldn't say I have like a hero, because I've always been like, I just like to watch like good football players.
Okay.
You know, I like to take something from everyone, and it's not like this is the person I. Okay, yeah, I've like always since a kid I've loved Cristiano Ronaldo, but he's not like it's so different compared to me. But like, yeah, I don't really have like a Finnish one. Of course, Jari Litmanen is the best of all.
Sami Hyypiä is also
yes,
right up
yes,
there.
Hyypiä also. But I was also very young when they were in their prime, so I didn't get to watch them like live. But about the Malaysian, who was the first one? I think because when I first started like getting more like messages and like, oh, come to Malaysia, I started to have a look like in the national team and like in the league, and I think like surely someone from the national team, like someone I'm playing with now, like Brendan Gunn maybe.
Yeah.
Matt Davies, like people like this that I already played with, and also like I'm playing in Selangor. Of course, there's like we have in our dressing room. There's many players like who played in Selangor for many years, but they were. I don't think I was even born then, so it's like it wasn't really my time. So
it wasn't until later in your life that you sort of opened up and started getting exposed to a little bit of Malaysian football, right?
yes, correct.
Fascinating. I want to talk a little bit about the football process that you just explained, because you're saying that in Malaysia it's slightly different, you know, because in Malaysia you basically go to school and you start your footballing journey within the school. You probably play for your school team, and then from the school team you play for your district team, state team, and that's what the ladder is like. But what's it like in Finland? At what age did you join a football academy? What's the structure like there? How did you climb up the ladder?
Yeah, there is academies, but it's not like if you compare to like England. It's not like in England you have everything.
Yeah.
Like you go there, you eat there, and like when I was in Helsinki, it's like you are in the club is they're working together with the school.
Okay.
Basically, and like the structure is like you have training in the morning, you go to school, you have training in the evening, and then you can like manage it with the school. If okay, this player needs to come to training earlier, or he needs to skip this class to go to training or game, and then yeah, that's how it pretty much goes. Yeah.
When you were in Helsinki, were you familiar familiar with the name Coach V. Saravanan?
Yes, I was actually. Yeah, I was playing in the second team, and then I don't know how I think it was maybe my dad who told me that there is some Malaysian guy in Helsinki also, and I was like, oh,
Did you ever meet him while you were there?
I think I did, but not like he wasn't coaching me, and he was like with the coaching like some younger players. But yeah, I did heard about him.
Yeah, I mean, just a bit of context. He's an absolute legend
Yeah.
over here. I mean, for me, he was one of the guys that I grew up watching with Perak. He's in Malaysia right now, as I'm sure you're aware. But apparently, he's set to return to Finland pretty soon. Pretty iconic guy, very random as well, all the way in Finland. But tell us a little bit about the cold weather, because this is probably the one thing that Malaysian fans are generally curious about. Over here, we live in a tropical country. It's the same climate year in, year out, day in, day out. Probably the only thing that changes is how rainy it gets. But over in Finland, the cold weathers can get pretty extreme. So what's the football season like over there? How do you manage playing in that sort of a weather?
Yes, it's difficult. It's very difficult because, as you said, the weather changes. Like, okay, there's like around this time there's like starting to get snow, and it goes until April maybe.
Oh, wow!
So it's really difficult. You cannot really play outside, so you have to play in these indoor halls, and of course, it's very different the football to play indoors than outside, and also if you don't have like a proper way to warm up, the indoor is also cold. So that's why also the Finnish people say the Finnish preseason is the longest in the whole world, and it's actually true because there's this, well, how many months? Yeah, from November to April only, like
that's
training.
basically your preseason.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
And
So
a lot of it is indoors.
most of the time, yeah.
What are these indoor halls like? I think I've seen a picture of one in Iceland. I remember, I think it was 2016 when Iceland did really well at the Euros, and there was all these articles coming out exploring the football system there. And I remember seeing how they all play indoors, and that sounds pretty similar to sort of like the indoor arenas that you've got. But do you have like seats for fans, or what is it like?
Some have, but it's not many seats. Like it's like maybe a couple of rows that you can sit, and then it's also pretty dangerous. Like if you have like, let's say these wooden seats, and then the pitch is like 1 meter from the seat, and then you're running like full speed there and fall down, hit your head or something like this.
Yeah.
You have to be like pretty careful when you're playing there. But the crowds you're getting is not very, very big there.
Yeah, we'll touch a little bit about the crowd in just a bit, because that's what I'm curious about too. But let's talk about your experience under coaches. Who would you say is like an individual, a coach that had the biggest impact on you growing up, and in what sense?
There's quite a few actually. Like as when you're like, let's say under 15 still, I think you need to have like it doesn't even need to be like a tactical genius as a coach.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be more about the person,
More about the human, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you need to have a coach who makes you like excited to play the sport, and he makes you realize things that why this is so like privileged to play this sport, and like you get every day this like feeling that you just like fell in love with the game even more and more day by day. And then after, I think, after maybe 15, well, when you go to the men's game, then it's more about, winning games and doing whatever it takes to win games. But the one that affected me the most was, I think, my second and third year in Asico in Seneoki. We had this Spanish coach, Joaquin Gomez. Yeah, I think he was like the most intense coach I've ever had. Like,
wow.
And I really enjoyed working with him, and he was like, of course these were the years also that like I got really introduced to the men's game like properly. I think it was my maybe second season playing like fully men's football, and like there's many things I learned from him, so that was good.
Was he the guy that gave you your pro debut?
No, he wasn't. Are you talking about the because when I was 15.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that one was. I remember reading about you when we first found out that there was a mixed heritage boy in Finland who was about to play for the national setup. And of course, like any Malaysian football fan, you try to research the guy up and find out more about him. And I stumbled upon a pretty fascinating fact. Is the fact that you made your pro debut at the age of 15, which is, I mean, probably not so common in some parts of the world, but in Malaysia, at the very least, 15, you very rarely see it happening. But in your case, how did that come about? Making your pro debut at the age of 15, and do you remember how that day went for you? Because it must have been a really fulfilling day on a personal level.
I think it was like pretty natural. I was in the squad, like training with the squad and doing the preseason, and then I just got my chance, like to play, and that's how it happened.
There was no, did you feel any specific emotions on the day? Do you remember what the message was like from the coaches or your parents on the day? Because for any footballer out there, the day you make your pro debut is always the special one, because that's what you spend your childhood working towards, right? That particular dream of making it a career.
Yeah. Of course, it was a really big thing because it's my hometown club, and like all my family were in the game watching. But then again, it was like something that how do I say, like, it's just one step, that these are the games I need to be playing also.
Okay.
So
that's how you viewed it.
yes, and it wasn't like, oh, now of course it wasn't now I've made it, and it was like, okay, now we're here. Now I want to play even more and take my place. So,
that's a pretty fascinating approach to it, I would say. Where you don't necessarily look at it as a huge milestone. It's more of like a step towards what else do you want to do within the game and achieve within the game.
yeah, definitely.
In your time in Finland, you've played for a lot of the underage teams with the Finland national setup. I think under 15s you played, under 17s as well.
Yep.
I'm curious, from that age group, are there anyone that stood out to you? Anyone that have gone out of those age group to make it big, whether in Finland or whether in other parts of Europe? Do you remember your teammates?
Yeah. There were many really good players actually in our age groups, like the born 2002. Actually, they just got qualified to the under 21 Euros. Like, last time Finland got qualified, I think it was like 2009.
Oh wow, that's a while
So
back.
it was like my age group is the one, like the oldest one now in the under 21s. So I think that tells is a pretty good age group.
Pretty good story. Yeah, that's pretty. And anyone that's already sort of like making a breakthrough in the top 5 leagues, or?
No, I don't think in top 5, but maybe like Belgium and some like Germany, like lower
leagues. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about your move to Malaysia as well, because I'm thinking about this from this angle, right? You made your pro debut at the age of 15. You were very highly rated within the Finland national setup. You were already playing Conference League qualifier games in Europe. But what sort of compelled you to make the move to come over to Malaysia?
Well, of course, I think I was pretty lucky to be in the national setup first. Like I got to see how it, not really how it is, but like a bit closer. Like how are the players and the culture and.
Actually, let's talk about that then.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that first. Do you remember the day you got the call that the opportunity to play for Malaysia was very much available?
The first time it was possible for me to come was the last AFF.
Okay.
But then I didn't still have the passport yet, and I think there at the same time there was Finland under 21s camp also, so I went there.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think it was March, and then Kim Panko called me and told me that they would like me to come, and then I was like, yeah, why not? That sounded very nice. So
What compelled you to? Because it's a big decision, right? You could potentially play for the country that you were born and raised in, or you could play for the country of your parent, a country that you've got connections to, cultural ties to. How do you balance that and make that decision? Because I sometimes I imagine myself, if I've got to make a decision like that, man, I'll be cracking my head for like years, and I'll end up having my career pass away before I even make that decision. It's such a huge thing to make.
Well, let's say when I first made the choice to come in March, it wasn't like, I thought it was like something I could still decide later on.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see how it is here first, and try how it does go. So it wasn't like, okay, this is my final decision to come here now. But now it is the final decision, and I'm not saying it's bad. It's very good.
Yeah. And the moment you started playing for the Malaysian national team, fair to say that your stocks went up very quickly. I think I speak for a lot of fans when I say that we've been craving to see midfielders in the mold of you for a very long time. And when we finally got a glimpse of it, I think everyone was pretty excited. Then comes the club move. So how did this happen?
I think the first time we got contacted by Selangor was like end of 2023. End of last season.
Last year.
Yeah. And then starting going forward, and then it happened.
And you've been here, I think at the start of the podcast we talked about it, and in the blink of an eye you've been here for what, like 9 months now.
Yeah.
What's it been like? How's the adaptation process completely been like for you?
I think it's been pretty smooth. Like, of course, when I came to the team, I knew like pretty much everyone. Not everyone, but like most of the players, and like also the players I didn't know. Now I'm like really familiar with them, and of course it helps when you're playing, and yeah, it really helps to bond with the team. And like I've really enjoyed like I feel like it's more like I'm really in it, you know, because there's so many games and national team and traveling to ACL games, and like it's really like it's hard, but it's something that I've always wanted to do. So it's been pretty easy. Yeah.
What's been your favorite part? Or what's been your favorite moment from your journey with Malaysia so far, both club and country?
I think the under 23 Asian Cup was really nice.
Okay.
It was really nice. I think all the stadiums and the tournament itself.
It was all the World Cup stadiums and the Asian Cup stadiums. Yeah,
it was really nice. And of course, like the games, like the ACL games, FA Cup final, even though it wasn't the result we wanted, but like as an experience, is something definitely I want like to have more.
Yeah,
you know?
I remember watching. I think it was Selangor's game against John Book, the away game, and I remember thinking to myself that a lot of the boys in that Selangor team would have worked yourself included, would have worked their socks off for years to be able to experience games like that, moments like that, in venues like that, right? That must have been a pretty big high for within the dressing room as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like those are the games why we all play football, and even though the games are like high stake and there's pressure and everything, I think you need to take yourself out of the position and like look at where you are and enjoy the moment, and really like embrace it.
Let's talk a little bit about fans, and this is the one I've been really, really curious about, because culturally, I mean, I'm sure you're used to crowds that are slightly lower in Finland. The stadiums are more what you would refer to as boutique stadiums, I suppose, with smaller crowds. I mean, it's a very different culture there. What has it been like for you playing in front of crazy amounts of people here? I mean, I think about it, the FA Cup final, I know the result didn't go your way, but that experience alone, the amount of Selangor fans in the stadium singing their hearts out, it must have been a pretty special occasion.
Yeah, it's it's very different playing in front of 80,000 or 2,000.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, it's something you want to. Those are the games you want to play, and it's when we play in our home stadium. I feel like it definitely gives the team more when you hear the fans singing and people like shouting and cheering. So it's part of, like, it needs to be like football without fans is so different, and you need the fans to also be there.
In terms of your interactions with, because you sort of got catapulted into stardom very quickly in Malaysia. Just perhaps about 3-4 years ago, you were a regular boy in Finland, making his waves within the domestic football scene, highly rated over there. But within a short space of time, the Instagram followers shoots up, the attention from public shoots up. You've got young kids who are now wearing your jersey on their backs and people idolizing you and appreciating you. What does that feel like? What has been sort of like your favorite interaction with like fans that you've experienced so far?
It's definitely very different than in Finland. Like, I feel like here you are more appreciated as a footballer than in Finland. Like, there's for example, ice hockey is much bigger than football in Finland. But yeah, it's nice, yeah. But also like you said about the followers and everything, I think it's still, you don't play football with those followers. You still have to like try to do your best and deliver and like for me it's not, of course everything comes with like all these media stuff, they come with football, but the main thing is the football. So I'm trying to focus on it every day, and after this everything else comes.
Yeah. Do your friends in Finland ask you about the crowds over here? Ultras Malaya, I mean, they're a pretty well-known organization within fan groups. Even in Europe as well, people are aware of Ultras Malaya and the incredible support. But you get friends back home in Finland asking you about the football environment here, the community here?
Yeah. Actually, I've been the one to, when I went back home to Finland, you won't imagine like how many fans there were. Like, yeah, they definitely heard of the fans. Yeah.
And have any one of them like come down here to watch you play so far?
No, not yet. No.
Family members, not yet as well.
No.
Soon to come,
Hopefully
I suppose.
soon, yeah.
Just a couple of last questions. One that I would leave for right at the end because it's more of like a bigger spectrum question. But there's one thing that I want to ask you about, which is regarding your life in Malaysia, because even in terms of lifestyle, it's a pretty big shift from your day-to-day things that you do over in Finland to now being in KL. I just found out that you live pretty nearby your stadium as well, in Selangor. What's your day-to-day experience like in living in the Klang Valley, and what are the things that you like so far about living here?
Yeah, I would say if I compare to Finland, is pretty much the same. Like, life as a footballer is every day is pretty much the same. But I think here's flipped because we train in the morning in Finland.
Okay.
So, and here we train like in the evening or afternoon. So yeah, it's like it's not like, I would say it's pretty boring, but I enjoy it. It's like you take care of yourself and then you go to training and you take care of yourself after this also. But what do you ask? What is my favorite thing?
Yeah, what is your favorite thing about living here so far in the short space of time? 9 months.
I gotta say the weather.
You love the weather.
Yes. When I came here, I was a little bit like, I'm not sure if the weather. I don't want to feel like warm all the time.
Yeah.
But then we went to New Zealand with the national team. That was my first time I went to like a bit colder place after coming to Malaysia. And I was like, it's too cold now. And when I came back, I was like, yeah, the weather is the number one thing, because you never feel cold, so I don't mind it.
And it's constantly bright and sunny, and it affects your your general state of mood as well, right?
That's definitely true, because right now in Finland you have sunlight maybe from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So when I was going to school, I went to school at 9, no sunlight, and left school 3, no sunlight. So some cases you cannot see the sunlight like at all.
Yeah.
So
are you already completely adapted to life here as a local? Are you walking to your nearest, I don't know, grocery store to pick up cans of Wonda coffee maybe, and
yeah, I am like, it's
shorts and flip flops in this weather?
yes.
That's I mean, I can completely understand that, because a lot of people that end up making the move from Europe to over here, there is one individual which I'm sure you've heard his voice, but you'll probably meet him at some point. He goes by the name of Des Cockhill. He's a commentator. He's been in Malaysia for so long now, and he says the same thing as well. He absolutely adores life in Southeast Asia because of the fact that you wake up every morning and it's just the bright sun, and it's a really different experience. One final question, Nooa. In terms of the context of Malaysian football, you're still very young. You've still got a long time to go within the national team, within the club level. Plenty of time, plenty of opportunities to sort of shape and build a legacy for the national team. But where do you see yourself 10 years from now within the Malaysian football ecosystem? What would you want fans to remember you for?
I would still like to be able to play, definitely, and that's something I'm like every day I'm working to keep myself fit and like to have like a long career. But apart from that, it's really difficult to say. Yeah, because you never know what happens in football, and 10 years in football is a long time. So, but I would like to play still and like be able to play many games and without like too many pains.
It's a pretty fascinating insight. This chat has been. I'm sure for fans, they would have gotten a better glimpse of the person behind the footballer they continue to see on the pitch week in, week out for Selangor and for the national team. Before we wrap up this chat, Nooa, I've got a favor to ask you. I need your help to sort of sign a Malaysian national team jersey that's going to be worn by a lucky viewer that's watching this podcast. Kepada semua penonton, ingat, korang kena follow akaun media sosial Wonda untuk dapatkan maklumat lanjut tentang cara untuk memenangi jersey Harimau Melaya eksklusif dengan tanda tangan Nooa Laine. Jadi make sure korang follow akaun media sosial Wonda. Sekarang ni kita nak dapatkan peluang untuk Nooa Laine menandatangani jersey sedikit. Before we wrap up this chat, Nooa, we just need a favor from you to sort of sign a Malaysian national team jersey that's going to be worn by a lucky viewer out there. Ingat kepada semua penonton, kalau korang nak tahu cara nak memenangi jersey dengan tanda tangan Nooa Laine ni, korang perlu follow akaun media sosial Wonda untuk dapatkan maklumat lanjut, kerana di situ korang akan tahu cara untuk memenangi jersey eksklusif ni. Nooa, could you do us the favor of just signing the jersey? Even at a relatively young age, Nooa, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's already a lot of people out there who are really interested in winning this jersey. You're a bit of a cult hero, cult icon already for Malaysian football fans. Thank you so much, Nooa.
No problem.
Just a quick mention as well. I hope the best of luck for the rest of the ACL2 campaign. I think it's been a real pleasure following Selangor's story in ACL2 this year, and hopefully you guys go as far as you can. And good luck for your future with the Malaysian national team as well. We're looking forward to watching you in that number 6 role for the years and the decades to come, hopefully. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Terima kasih kepada semua yang menonton juga podcast Sembang Bola Kopi Wonda. Seperti biasa, ikuti media sosial Wonda bukan saja untuk dapatkan maklumat tentang cara nak menang jersey ni, tapi untuk tengok siapa tetamu dalam episod seterusnya.